It is embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. It is absolutely embarrassing. And the fact is that originally it's, oh yeah, you know, we're looking towards everything. Then they had to double down. They actually redacted this statement. They redacted a statement. They redacted the statement saying we're looking at everything, saying, no, we're actually not looking at most of the stuff. We're looking at a lie spread on social media that went viral. We are looking into a literal lie spread on social media that got spoken into fact. We're looking at a lie.
The WNBA just slapped Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever with a penalty so strange, even Angel Reese had to pause. And that says a lot, given how much she embraces the chaos. So, did the league finally reveal its true intentions, or is this just another episode of confuse the fans and call it entertainment? Either way, things just got messy, petty, and downright entertaining. Buckle up, this latest twist feels like it was written by a delirious screenwriter addicted to drama.
The WNBA. This has to be the most pathetic professional organization I have ever come across. This has to be the most unprofessional organization I have ever come across. This league would definitely not succeed without Adam Silver saying, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money. Without David Stern saying, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money. This league would be gone. And that's what happens. When you don't need to think logically, when you don't need to think like a business, when you can continue to put activism at the forefront because daddy's going to continue to pay your bills, you're allowed to get off the rails. You're allowed to say whatever outlandish stuff you want to say because it doesn't matter. You'll never fail.
Can you take us through the flagrant foul from your perspective? Just what you saw in that play, how you interpreted what happened.
Basketball player, refs got it right. Move on.
The WNBA, where fierce competition gets diluted and genuine rivalries are handled like PR nightmares. If you've ever imagined what professional basketball would look like after being filtered through an HR workshop and sprinkled with be kind Pinterest quotes, this is it. The latest saga? A headline-grabbing drama starring Caitlin Clark, a certified scoring machine, and Angel Reese, who approaches every game like it's WrestleMania, playing both the villain and the fan favorite. Let's unpack the chaos.
Okay, so I didn't hear anything outside of the run-of-the-mill booing. But the WNBA seems content to follow through with this ridiculous investigation. Who is the WNBA going to let control their pocket strings, their pocketbooks? Because it seems to me like the new fans are the ones that's funding this whole league now. I mean, we make up about 70% of the fans overall. Otherwise, yesterday's game would have been watched by about 400,000 people, maybe. It probably got watched by what? Upwards of 2 million? I mean, does the WNBA want to lose Caitlin Clark fans? Because I think as much as people want to support Caitlin Clark...
Imagine this. Caitlin Clark, known for her clutch performances, sharp court vision, and high basketball IQ, makes a smart, well-timed defensive move. She steps in with arguably the cleanest, most respectful contact the league has seen all year, the kind of hustle any other sport would celebrate. But in the WNBA, one slight touch and it's treated like she committed a federal crime. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe my channel for more awesome content. Thanks.
Fans yell and fans scream and fans try to do anything they can to diminish their opponent's ability to make a bucket. And I think that it's very hard to really understand or really interpret this sound that way. At least for me it is. And I'm really hoping that the WNBA did not just announce an official investigation based on internet hearsay and outrage.
Enter Angel Reese, who didn't just shrug it off and play on. No, she went full Hollywood, like she was auditioning for the next Fast and Furious installment. Full contact, full drama, full-on attitude. But here's the kicker. Caitlin? She didn't react. Not a flinch, not even a blink. She just turned and walked away like she had better things to do, maybe a coffee date, and zero interest in amateur theatrics. But was that the headline? Of course not. In classic WNBA fashion, the league ignored Angel's ringside-level antics and instead shifted the blame to, wait for it, Indiana Fever fans. Because apparently, when things spiral out of control, it's suddenly the crowd's fault.
I don't know why I'm so angry about this. I'm so angry about this. is because how many kids are there in that audience? How many kids are there? And I'm sorry. I'm cool with idiots online branding me as whatever they want to. But when it comes to innocent kids who just want to watch their favorite team, favorite players play basketball, and thankfully they're going to be oblivious to this. But I'm sorry, you're branding kids as dangerous. You are branding kids who are just enjoying their game, who are having the time of their lives watching this league as dangerous. This league does not want to grow. This Players Association do not want to grow. Neko Wumake, don't criticize. Watch, don't criticize.
So mad at how AB defended her teammate, how DeWanna Bonner spoke about the fans. They were so mad about a common basketball play in which Angel Reese admitted was a basketball play, that they went out of their way to make things like this. Unless the powers that be make some drastic changes to support our players and their fans, I don't think Indianapolis should be allowed to host the WNBA's All-Star Weekend. These people are writing emails because they're so emotionally unhinged. They're so emotionally unhinged. They've never been checked a day in their life. Their parents allow them to act like fools with no repercussion, with no consequence. Always being acquiesced to every little complaint, to every little need, to every little this, to every little that. They're writing emails to get the Indiana Fever.
So, who did the league decide were the real villains? The fans. Yes, the same ones guilty of cheering for their own team and booing the player who targeted their franchise star.
Scandalous, right? How dare they show passion?
In the WNBA's latest unwritten rulebook, being loud, loyal, and even mildly confrontational now seems like a punishable offense. Rivalries?
Too dangerous.
Competitive fire?
Problematic.
And if your reaction isn't a restrained golf clap and a perfectly filtered smile for Instagram, well, you're clearly not playing by their new rules.
4 hours ago, we had a situation that shook the earth. That is Caitlin Clark putting a flagrant foul on Angel Reese, and that foul arguably was probably one of the most transcendent moments in Caitlin Clark's career. To me, that moment there showed the world that Caitlin Clark wasn't backing down for nothing, and she wasn't scared to get in the mix when it comes to protecting her teammates and stopping somebody from making a basket. Well, many other Angel Reese fans had rage war against Caitlin Clark fan base by saying racial slurs online, and me personally, I'm staying out of the racial stuff as of right now. But for them to sit up there and lie and say that Angel Reese again called racist names during the game, I had somebody from my team sitting right behind Chicago Sky Bench. Wasn't nobody saying nothing about Angel, man.
It's like the WNBA has developed a full-blown aversion to actual competition, the raw, on-court intensity that built the foundation of sports. Not the polished PR fluff, but real rivalries that ignite passion in fans. Instead, we're stuck in the league's perfectly manicured bubble, where every player is expected to grin like they are running for city council, and one hint of genuine emotion sends XX into meltdown mode. You'd think the league would be thrilled by the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese storyline. It's the most attention the WNBA's had since someone accidentally tuned in while channel surfing past the Food Network. But instead of letting the rivalry thrive and boost ratings, they've drowned it in feel-good messaging and corporate overcorrection. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has unintentionally become a walking Rorschach test. People project whatever they want onto her. To some, she's a once-in-a-generation star lifting the league into the mainstream. To others, somehow, she's the villain, accused of wrecking locker rooms with nothing more than a bounce pass. And if you dare defend her, welcome to the WNBA's unofficial blacklist, where logic goes to die and nuance gathers dust.
6 or 7 of their players have been called racial slurs for an entire day, but they're on the Indiana Fever. They don't care about those players. It's only certain players. The WNBA players, they don't want Caitlin Clark, and it's very clear. The WNBPA releasing a statement is the most embarrassing thing I've seen, because you know what? When it comes to the Fever players, it doesn't count. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. The WNBPA said something. And you know what? Their stance is clear. There's no place for hate unless it's towards Caitlin Clark or her teammates. Then it's fair game. They have made that point abundantly clear, and it's embarrassing.
Let's rewind to where this all started, an actual basketball game. Caitlin Clark makes a smart, calculated move. Angel Reese reacts like it was a personal insult.
And Clark?
She stays cool, composed, and unbothered, showing more grace under pressure than the WNBA's entire PR department could muster. But instead of highlighting her poise, what does the league do? They release a statement blaming Indiana Fever fans, because apparently that's the real issue. You have to give it to the WNBA. They'll bend over backward to avoid addressing the actual problem.
Angel's over-the-top reaction? Brushed off as passion. Her fiery post-game comments? Just intensity. But fans booing?
Now that's unacceptable. Sound the alarm. Someone dared to care too much at a sporting event. It's like the league is scared of real intensity, as if honest competition might clash with their carefully curated, pastel-hued image. They want group hugs after hard fouls, grinning selfies after turnovers, and maybe a tea party at halftime instead of a tip-off. But whatever you do, don't call it a rivalry. That's too raw, too genuine, too much like the reason people watch sports in the first place. No, let's just rebrand it as positive engagement or mutual admiration through athletic expression.
They lost sight of reality. They lost sight of what real sports is about. The fans at the Indiana Fever game yesterday, they were being fans. They booed, they cheered, they screamed, they yelled. That's it. The Angel Reese fans, the old guard, the lowest common denominator that resides in the WNBA, the nose picker, the people that scratch their butt and don't wash their hands, those people saw that Caitlin Clark hard foul on Angel Reese, and they saw it as an opportunity. They saw it as an opportunity to do what they always do, make it about race.
Wouldn't want anyone's feelings getting hurt. Well, except the actual fans who showed up to enjoy the game. Because clearly, maintaining an emotionally safe environment takes top priority, even if it sucks the energy right out of the experience that makes sports exciting in the first place. Now let's talk about the WNBA's brilliant idea of punishment after all the chaos. Spoiler, it's not what anyone expected. With all the buzz and controversy, you'd think anyone, might face some accountability. Maybe a fine for Angel Reese? A warning about escalating tensions? Nope. Nothing. Instead, the league chose to crack down on
Indiana Fever fans.
Yep, seriously, the people who booed. The ones who reacted like actual fans to what they witnessed on the court. According to the WNBA, that's the real problem. People showing emotion at a game they paid to attend. What's next? A ban on clapping.
A no cheering zone?
Will fans get pamphlets on respectful silence before tip-off? At this rate, the WNBA might as well turn every arena into a library, where the loudest sound allowed is a soft golf clap and the occasional whispered bravo. Welcome to the new era of professional sports, where passion gets policed, emotion is a threat, and the fans who care the most are the ones paying the price.
So as soon as I landed from Indianapolis, to LaGuardia, New York, I got an email in my inbox relating to a WNBA statement. And to be quite frank, I was surprised to see it. I didn't think these things would be a topic this year. It's certainly not at this point, but here we go again.
And sarcasm?
That's practically contraband in today's WNBA. One clever comment and the league acts like it's DEFCON 1. You'd think a witty remark might send the entire front office into a tailspin. But let's be honest, this isn't just a petty back and forth between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark anymore. It's become a reflection of a league obsessed with micromanaging every narrative, every highlight, every moment, scrubbing out any real emotion in the process. They are chasing a hyper-polished, corporate-friendly image. So polished, in fact, it no longer reflects anything real. Just a surface-level shine of generic smiles and safe talking points. And the second something raw or genuine begins to build, some spark, some drama, something that might actually get fans invested, the WNBA rushes in like a school hall monitor on patrol, determined to shut it down for the sake of appearances.
No sparks. No waves. No real emotion.
Just a stream of carefully packaged interviews and commentary so bland it could put you to sleep. But here's a wild idea. What if fans want that fire? What if they are not just tuning in for the scores, but for the intensity, the rivalries, the unpredictable, unscripted moments that make sports worth watching? Because let's face it, without that edge, the only thing keeping people awake during another 52-48 fourth quarter slog is the possibility of a little drama. Fans aren't craving another sterilized performance.
They want passion, conflict, storylines. They want a reason to care.
Number one, let me put it out there. I don't believe for a second that Indiana Fever fans were yelling racial slurs where there were television mics down by the court. I don't believe it. They would have gotten thrown out of the arena. So don't let that narrative, it would be everywhere. Somebody would have it on camera. It would get leaked. It would be online right now. It's not. Everybody's got camera phones. We would already know if that was true. So don't let them slide you into some kind of false bullshit like they did at Duke and that player over that BYU.
So what do we get instead?
A league that reacts to a heated, intense moment by scolding the fans, pointing fingers, then acting shocked when viewership barely hangs on, surviving off a thread and a few Caitlin Clark highlight reels. Because let's be honest, without Clark, half of these games wouldn't even crack a Twitter feed. She's the reason people are watching, the reason tickets are selling out. But rather than support her, promote her, or just let her play, the league seems more focused on shielding Angel Reese's feelings from a few harmless boos.
The irony is thicker than Reese's pre-game eyeliner.
This is a league that claims to champion empowerment, fierce competition, and breaking boundaries. Yet every time something truly electrifying happens, they strip it of the very intensity that makes sports worth watching. Caitlin Clark plays like a true pro, calm in chaos, walking away from drama like she's operating on a higher plane, because, frankly, she is.
And somehow, she's being painted as the issue. As for the fans who support her,
even worse, apparently they now need a lesson in how to cheer nicely.
A lot of tension going on online between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark fan base. The reality of the situation is, man, this is the reality for the Angel Reese fan. Angel Reese is not relevant at all as of right now for basketball. Angel Reese is a social media influencer. Her basketball career is diminishing right before our eyes. She needs this rivalry to keep going to make herself relevant in the basketball world. Because in the basketball world, her attributes and stuff really is starting to diminish. This year, we're going to see a decline in Angel Reese. Now, granted, she got a double-double yesterday, but she had to work her butt off to get it, man. And I'm here to tell you, we're going to see a diminishing Angel Reese this basketball season. Now, something else.
This entire situation has become a masterclass in how to fumble your own momentum. The WNBA finally had the spotlight. A true superstar in Caitlin Clark, a rivalry that stirs emotion, and real buzz that could pull in casual viewers.
So what does the league do?
Smother it with performative outrage and carefully worded statements straight from the virtue signaling playbook. At this rate, you half expect them to roll out comfort counselors and emotional support llamas. Forget dunking. Maybe players will soon gather in a safe space near the baseline to share their feelings. The WNBA had a golden opportunity to embrace the chaos, let the rivalry build, and let fans get emotionally invested. Instead, they clammed up, terrified of backlash, choosing silence and caution over authenticity. It's not just a PR failure, it's full-on self-sabotage.
Indiana Fever fans acted like fans.
They booed the perceived villain, not out of hate, but tradition, energy, and passion.
That's the soul of sports. No villain means no hero.
But try explaining that to a league whose idea of controversy is a mildly awkward post-game handshake.
If I were the WNBA, I would look into these allegations before posting a public notice that there are allegations, because there's two things that you can be accused of. In my opinion, no matter what the outcome, just the accusation tarnishes.
What's next for the WNBA? Technical fouls for intense eye contact.
Penalties for sarcastic comments?
Maybe they'll replace referees with guidance counselors handing out stress balls and de-escalation scripts. Honestly, it feels like we're one memo away from flagging players for unsportsmanlike facial expressions.
What happened here?
This is supposed to be professional sports, not a group therapy session. When players get fired up on the court, that's a good thing. It shows they care.
It means they're not just punching a clock at some desk job.
But this growing discomfort with any kind of conflict is slowly draining the league of what it actually needs. Raw emotion, real rivalries, unfiltered passion. Those are the moments fans live for, the ones that make people leap off the couch, yell at the TV, and flood social media in real time. Instead of treating every glare, shrug, or fired-up exchange like it's an HR crisis, maybe the WNBA should try something new. Let it happen.
Let rivalries build. Let players clash. Let the drama unfold.
That's how you create stories people care about, not by sanitizing them into oblivion, but by letting the fire burn.
In itself, and I feel like the battles that, folks go through are not to be weaponized for basketball. It feels like such an empty platitude designed to vilify people more than really stop anything legitimate.
And Caitlin Clark, keep doing what you do best. Keep draining those deep threes, dishing out ice-cold no-look passes, and walking off like the unbothered queen you are while everything erupts around you. That composure? That quiet confidence? That's what makes you a true star. The WNBA needs more players like you, locked in, laser-focused, and too busy dominating to get dragged into the drama. And shout out to the Indiana Fever fans. While some arenas feel like subdued tea parties with slow claps and half-hearted cheers, you brought the energy. You reminded everyone that sports aren't meant to be tidy and tame. They are supposed to be electric, gritty, intense, and yes, sometimes a little petty. That's what makes it memorable. So here's a message for the WNBA. Loosen up.
Turn up the volume. Let it get real.
No one wants to watch elite athletes acting like they are stuck in a Zoom call with HR.
Let them play. Let them feel.
Let them battle for every inch.
That's where the magic happens.
That's how legends are born.
Advice to Caitlin Clark is never interact with that girl on the basketball court or off the basketball court, because any basketball play will turn into a non-basketball discussion. If you ever have to guard her, just call for a switch. Like, if she's going for a layup, just let her get the 2 points, man. Don't even foul. Don't even attempt to steal it. Because these nerds on social media are not going to let the two of you ever interact without having a non-basketball discussion. So don't even interact with her no more, man.
And so here we are. The WNBA has shown its true colors. And no, it's not the bold, trailblazing energy they sell in their promos. What we've gotten instead is a dull, watered-down version of unity, painted in beige, all about keeping the peace, avoiding conflict, and sweeping real rivalries under the rug.
Chew too loud? You're too aggressive. Boo a little? Suddenly you're the issue.
Compete hard and celebrate a win? Apparently, that's breaking some unspoken rule of sportsmanship, which now seems to mean everyone smiles politely and pretends the score doesn't matter, unless it's trending on Twitter. This is a league that wants to be taken seriously, to be watched, debated, and hyped like the NBA. But the moment anything real happens, tension, emotion, fire. The PR team rushes in with a corporate fire extinguisher, smothering it in bland, brand-safe silence. The players? They are fierce, skilled, and hungry. The league? It's afraid of its own momentum.
They want the spotlight, but they flinch at controversy.
They beg for engagement, but only if it's neat and non-threatening. They ask for energy, but only in small, quiet doses.
And then they wonder why fans lose interest and call it boring.